So no questions have been received from members of the public beforehand. But I don't think there's anyone here. And apologies for absence. Apologies have been received from Councillor Tom Deacon, Councillor Judy Stainthorpe, Councillor Liam Pollard, Councillor Gemma Evans, Councillor Fraschini, and Councillor Frederica Smith-Roberts. Now, the declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? Anyone concerned? Yes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is just a personal declaration of interest under item 12, as our son-in-law will be working for the main contractor at Trafalgar House.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you. So moving on to item 3, the minutes. To approve and sign as a correct record the minutes of the previous council meeting held on the 14th of January 2025. May I have a proposer for the minutes? Thank you, Councillor Pepper-Hughes. And a seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Solé. And a show of hands, please. Thank you, that's unanimous. Item number 4 is the referral of minutes. To note the minutes and actions arising from in the committee shown below: Community and Place Committee, Personnel Committee, Finance and Governance Committee, Planning, Development and Licensing Committee. Please note that any committee minutes referred to full council requiring approval will be listed separately. So could I have a proposer for those minutes, please, for all 4 of them? Yeah, four groups. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Pepper-Hughes. Seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor O'Donnell. And could I have a show of hands for those minutes? Thank you. That's again unanimous. Okay, item number 5 is to receive communications from the town mayor. I'll try and keep it short, but I've actually done quite a lot since you last saw me. So I'll try and I have to try to condense it anyway. First of all, I'd like to congratulate everyone about the news about the High Street car park. This is fantastic news. I mean, I'm really thrilled, and thank you to everybody who waged the campaign, who signed the petition, and it shows the triumph of democracy. I feel, you know, and I'm very pleased about that. And I'd also like to congratulate Donna and her team for achieving the Quality Award. That was a fantastic achievement. We had a visit from the CEO of Arts Council England in January, organised by Gideon Amos and Caroline. I think it was very successful. He met with a wide selection of arts and culture practitioners in the town, and we were all impressed by the wonderful work they're undertaking within the community to make Taunton a better place to live. I think he was very impressed by the cohesion of the arts community. And it was regarded that Taunton Together and the Gaumont Community Project were the main ways forward to make Taunton a cultural destination for the future. Other than that, I've reopened the oldest pub in Taunton, which happens to be in my ward, and participated in some karaoke. I've undertaken some disco dancing on the venue at a Let's Unite Against Racism disco organised by John Rendell. I've assisted in the Urban Tree Challenge by pretending to plant a tree. And I've opened an exhibition by Ukrainian artist Medina Brett. Last weekend, I attended so many different types of music concerts. It's difficult to remember them all, but one of them was a country blues at Kick Kick, Taunton Deane Male Voice Choir and Kingsbury Episcopi Band held a fundraiser for Diversity Voice, the Mayor's charity for this year, and Charis. Also, a classical musical recital at the Temple Methodist Church by one of our orchestras. Did you know that Taunton has 2 orchestras? Well, I didn't, and so if you didn't, I'm not surprised. We have 2 orchestras in this town because we have so much talent. And Taunton Sinfonietta is a small chamber orchestra, and it was a wonderful concert. I've also attended meetings about town twinning. Friends of Königslutter told us about the expected visit from our friends of Taunton, who will be visiting from Germany in September. I've also been to several Taunton Together meetings, so planning for the big event at the end of September, when we're going to be visited by World Art Games International, who are holding their 9th festival in Taunton at my invitation. We've also been up to North Cadbury Court for the High Sheriff's Charitable Trust event to discuss the challenges facing volunteering in our county. Our county relies very heavily on volunteers and is coming to some kind of crisis because the volunteers are all quite elderly. So we need to get some young people involved in volunteering. The event was raised by Clinton Rogers and Deborah Meaden. Deborah Meaden showed that she keeps a very close eye on events happening in Taunton, which happens to be her hometown. So I think that's very uplifting. Thank you. Okay, then moving on to announcements from the leader of the council, who sadly isn't here, but we have the deputy leader. So Councillor Fakahis, would you like to give us your announcements?
Chair, yes, Tom sends his apologies. He can't be here today. He didn't pass any on specific announcements, but I just wanted to say that I've attended a couple of events as deputy leader at Bridgewater and Taunton College. I know lots of staff and other councillors came to one of them, where they highlighted that the Bridgewater and Taunton College received outstanding in all areas from Ofsted, which is an amazing achievement itself, but particularly notable because it's not a specialist college, it's an incredibly broad college across multiple campuses, and they were on their way to becoming a university status, giving out their own degrees, which is a massive achievement for Taunton and something to look forward to. Thank you.
Thank you. That is a massive achievement. Yeah, fantastic. And could I call on Councillor Ray Tully for the Finance and Governance Committee, please?
Yeah.
Sorry, I've actually moved on to item 7. So this is a chair of each council committee to provide an overview. Maximum 3 minutes on the business conducted since the previous council.
Thank you.
Councillor Tully.
Sorry, I can't see you, Chair. You're hiding.
No, I know. Behind the pillar.
We haven't as yet not had a meeting this time. The last meeting was in, I forgot when it was. I reported on the last one at the last meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Fair enough. Then Councillor Connor Solé, Planning, Development and Licensing Committee. Anything from you?
Thank you. Not too much to respond on, excluding 13 applications, 3 licensing applications. It was a very efficient meeting, but apart from that, nothing else outstanding. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. And can I call on Councillor Beth Fernandez, the community in place?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, we have a very packed community in place committee on the 28th of January. It's very full agenda. I've just pulled out, sort of just made some quick notes on those, so I'll keep it brief. One of the main things is we looked at the security provisions 25-26. So we agreed to fund a business crime reduction partnership for the businesses in our town for the next 12 months using an underspend from the street marshal budget. And also we agreed with support for the street marshal and increasing the street marshal to another one from April 25 in line with the agreed budget, which is going to be a really good improvement for the town. We had a quick update about the urban tree planting. That's going well in the parks. Most recently, I saw them on Pennisfield in Comitro, and I think they've also started on Galmington playing fields today, which is a bit earlier than expected. So I guess we're working around all different parks. We agreed the budget for the Sunday bandstand concerts, so we can expect to sort of start getting some dates for those, and also there may be some additional dates beyond the standard lineup, and that's all in the approved budget. The Talk Together, as Madam Mayor also said, we've also had a comprehensive report from Laura, which detail the new planning structure, the aims and objectives for the event, and we also agreed an application to the National Lottery Community Fund to enhance the event for this year. We agreed the community in place plan. We agreed lots of things at our meeting, and we also looked at digital trails across the Heritage Trail. We've currently got a Heritage Trail which you can walk around with the map, and we looked at making that a little bit more flexible with an app. So that that could, or the Heritage Trail could be actually put on the app, but also it opened doors for any other trails to go on there as well. We also agreed the funding from the grant spot for the Community in Place committee for the key events, for streamlining the application process for key events. That's Winterfest and so on. Also importantly, the ecological surveys for up to 5 non-green flag parks. So Jordan, our climate and place office, has been very busy looking at that. So we agreed some funding for that, and also the similar for the wildflower recoveries. And I know that Jordan's emailed all the ward councillors to ask for suggestions about areas and green spaces in their wards that could do with a bit of TLC, and also importantly to make those nice green corridors for residents alike. And finally, we agreed to form a young people's working group to look at youth providers, to look at and identify youth providers in the town, identify those gaps in youth provision, and working with those existing providers to see what we can do as a town council to facilitate further work around you. And I believe Ollie's also sent an email out to everybody asking if you would like to join the group on that young work person. So it's not just the community committee, it's open to all councillors. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Fernandez. And can I now follow on Councillor Packer Hughes report from the Personnel Committee?
Very much, Chair. We met early this month and discussed a range of policies, including social media policy, fostering carers leave, maternity, paternity and adoption, and the expenses policy. They were all agreed. Another thing I've noticed that we looked at the staff wellbeing survey, and it was really heartening to see such a positive response from all staff. It was pretty much overwhelmingly positive in all areas, and there was a really good discussion about routes to improve, maybe some like the very small areas where there might be things that get picked up on. And we also recommended that the survey actually rolled out to councillors as well, checking on the well-being of councillors as well as officers. Next time, it's sort of a similar set of questions. I think it's even going to go in for that for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Also good news, yes. Can I call on Councillor Martin Strauss to report about working group?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The meeting took place on the 3rd of February, and it was mainly to do with the leisure outgoing visit. But we also discussed various ways to promote town twinning generically, which is something we feel is very important. And the next phase of approach, relevant non-councillors join the working group, and indeed any councillors around the table now who might be interested, please get in touch with me. And whilst I'm on this subject, if I may, I'd just like to mention the other 2 working groups I'll be chairing until May. First of all, the public transport working group. Now, I've had various approaches, a number of people, including John Hassel, who is one of our great experts on buses, We have major problems with public transport in Taunton. Bus services are being cancelled constantly. There aren't enough buses on the routes. There aren't enough drivers. We've got a lot of hand-me-down buses which break down. And if a park and ride breaks down, it's going to be serviced in Tiverton because they can't use our bus garage. It's not their company. So there are lots of issues that need discussing. So if anybody's interested in joining us, I think it is important. We're a very important link pin between Somerset Council and the bus companies. It's a communication medium. I'd also like to mention the Hospitality, Leisure and Tourism Group. I propose to hold a meeting very shortly. We've got some very interesting projects. I would welcome any councillors who are interested to join me on this group. I've got a number of projects in mind, but it's all to do with raising the profile of Taunton, making it as attractive as possible to visitors. There are lots of things going on in the town, and we can make the most of this. So that's all I really want to say. I think I'm within the 3 minutes. We've got a lot to talk about this evening, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Strauss. As Councillor Smith-Roberts isn't here to talk about public toilets, could I ask Councillor Packer-Hughes to give an update, please?
It's a quick update. There's work has started on the Cannon Street toilets. It's all progressing. I walk past it every day. There's exciting noises of power tools and hammering and things. So feel free to wander past and check out progress.
That's good to hear. Thank you very much. Right, moving on to item 8, reports from outside bodies, appointees. So are there any outside bodies, appointees? We need to hear from. Thank you. Reports from Somerset councillors. Councillor Ellis.
Okay.
Something you'd like to report?
Yeah, so you'll all have seen that Somerset request for exceptional financial support. The government has said that Somerset is able to raise council tax by up to 7.5%. Just to be clear, if something like that doesn't happen, it's curtains, and commissioners will come in, slash everything, and put your bills up even higher. So it's grim. I think colleagues are working very hard behind the scenes to put together a package. Obviously, you know about there's major restructuring going on at the council. There likely will be increases in council tax. We will also be given, I expect, permission to sell off yet more assets on the Somerset side. We better be careful they aren't assets that are vital to the people of Taunton. Otherwise TTC will have to swing into action again. So there's a whole package of stuff being put together to ensure that the authority can carry on for another year and avoid a section 114, because that would be the worst possible scenario for all of our residents. I'm just delighted that Councillor Rigby, having reviewed the whole situation with the High Street car park, has concluded that actually the businesses and the venues and the members of the public who've made representations had a rather good point, and that the car park's extremely well used, and it would be madness to lose a car park that contributes so much to the economy of Taunton and indeed, you know, brings in money for Somerset Council. So I'm delighted with that decision.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your update. It's very interesting. Thank you. It's a very sad situation. Yeah. Thank you. But thank you. Right. Moving on then, number 10 to the forward. Oh, sorry. I didn't see. Councillor O'Donnell, you wanted to say something? Sorry, yes, of course.
Yeah, he's a newbie.
I'm sorry.
There's nothing really to add from what Caro said. Full council tomorrow, looking at the restructuring, and we've got a budget meeting at some point coming up. Keeps being moved back. Nothing really more to add on that one.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor O'Donnell. Okay, moving on then. Item 10, the forward plan. Members have asked me to note the forward plan, that we've all looked at it, And may I have at this point a proposer? Thank you, councillor Strauss. And the seconder? Thank you, councillor Fernandez. And could I have a show of hands, please? That's unanimous. We'll put it forward now. Moving on to item 11, which is the main purpose of the meeting, I think. Access to information. This is a motion to exclude the press and public. During discussion of the following item, agenda item 12, it will be necessary to pass the following resolution to exclude the press and public, having reflected on the presumption in favour of openness. This decision may be required because consideration of this matter in public may disclose information falling within one of the descriptions of exempt information in Schedule 12A to the Local Government Act 1972. The committee will need to decide whether, in all the circumstances of the case, the public interest in maintaining the exemption outweighs the public interest in disclosing the information. Recommendation is that under section 100A4 of the Local Government Act 1972, the public be excluded from the items of business, agenda item 12, on the grounds that it involves the likely disclosure of exempt information as defined in paragraph 3, respectively, of part 1 of Schedule 12A of the Act, namely information relating to the financial or business affairs of any particular person, including the authority holding that information. So I think I need a proposer, please. Thank you, councillor Strauss, and a seconder, please.
Right, councillor Tully.
Oh, councillor Tully, thank you. Seconder, show of hands, please. Thank you, unanimous, thank you.